Hi, and welcome back to Focal Point AFR Talk. We had a caller last hour talking about the fact that Michelle Obama apparently is behind this effort to put some kind of sweetener in milk. She doesn't want kids drinking chocolate milk or strawberry milk or whatever other kind of flavored milk. She wants them drinking straight milk. So to make it more tasty, she wants to put artificial sweetener in it, this aspartame or something like that, so they'll drink more milk. And so what I'm just saying is just this odd thing about the very same people that want to say they want to keep the government out of our bedrooms. Government's got no business in our private lives. All of a sudden, these are the people that want the government in every nook and cranny of your kitchen, your cupboard, your bread box, your freezer, and your refrigerator. And, this is kind of a fundamental difference between how the left sees people and how you and I see people. Now, it would depress me to tears to think about people the way the left does, because the left obviously thinks of people as nincompoops, as completely helpless, as like moral infants, with no capacity to care for themselves, no capacity to look after themselves, no ability to provide for themselves, no capacity to make decisions about how to run their own lives. If I thought that everybody in the world was like that and there wasn't anything they could do about it, I mean, people are like that. We know that they're like that. But what I'm saying is that liberals are content to leave people there. We see somebody like that, and we say, look, you're capable of something better. Life has something better for you than being helplessly and slavishly dependent on these self-identified smart people to make all of your decisions for you and tell you how to live. So we believe that people have the capacity, I mean, not everybody's actualizing it, but we believe that people have the capacity to be self-reliant, to work with their own hands, to provide for their own needs, and to provide for the people that are dependent upon them. We believe that people can do that. Now, not only is that the opposite of being hard-hearted, it's the most compassionate position you can take toward people, because if they will do that, then they will experience the reward that comes from taking care of yourself, from working hard, from providing for the people that depend upon you. That's the most compassionate position you can leave somebody in, because that's rewarding. It's satisfying for somebody to feel that. But to mire people in this helpless dependence, I would hate. I just hate that liberals think that that's all that people are capable of. What a depressing view of people that is. But you've got people on the left that actually believe that this is the way people are. Here's Piers Morgan. Again, this goes back a week or two when Mayor Bloomberg was banning the 17-ounce sodas and all that kind of stuff. But here is Piers Morgan with that depressing, pessimistic view of people. Let's listen.
This is where I disagree with you. I think people need the nanny state occasionally, particularly on issues like smoking, drinking, guzzling sodas that are too big for them, eating 16 Big Macs a day, whatever it may be. The reality is we all need a bit of nannying about that. That's why so many people are on diets. That's a form of nanny state.
That's just absurd. Being on a diet is a form of the nanny state? What is he talking about? A nanny state, the government puts you on a diet. A nanny state, the government tells you what to eat, tells you how much of it to eat, tells you how many calories you can have, and will only give you that many calories. Remember, that was the problem with Michelle Obama's school lunch program. The high school athletes could only get 850 calories with lunch. They had 2-hour, 3-hour football practices in the afternoon, and they're trying to do that at 850 calories. Why? Because the wizardess of smart, Michelle Obama, said that's all you're allowed to have. That's the nanny state. Now, you go on a diet, that is your choice. It is voluntary. It is an exercise of self-will. It is an exercise of self-reliance. It's the exact opposite of the nanny state. Now, here is a editor of Fortune magazine, really somebody that ought to know better, and her name is Lee Gallagher, and she's also a big-time fan of Mayor Bloomberg.
We talk a lot about this show about leadership and the lack of leadership. And the mayor himself has come on here and said, you know, sometimes you have to do not what your people want you to do, but what you have to take people by the hand and lead them.
Take people by the hand and lead them. You know who the people are that you take by the hand and lead? Who are those people? They're your children. When they're infants, when they're toddlers, when you can't trust them not to run out in the street and get run over by a milk truck. Those are the people that you take by the hand and lead. She's talking about doing this with fully mature adults who are old enough to make these decisions for themselves. So again, I mean, there's a clear contrast between a view of human nature, and I would not want to be inside the brain of a liberal with the way they look at humanity. Now, let me get you some content here before we go back to the phones. You know, this is an interesting conundrum that Chris Christie has, because there is a bill going on in New Jersey right now that will ban conversion therapy. Now, what conversion therapy is where you help people escape unwanted same-sex attractions. And it's been banned in California. It's illegal to help a teenager, even if he wants help with it, even if his parents want him to get that kind of help. It'll land a therapist in jail. He'll be out of business. He'll lose his license if he tries to help a teenager overcome unwanted same-sex attractions. Well, it's tied up in court right now, but the law was passed and signed into law. Now, in New Jersey, they've got one in the legislative pipeline that will ban gay conversion therapy as well, and apparently it bans it all across the board, not just for teenagers, but for everybody, although it also appears from the article that maybe it's specifically focused on teenagers. And Christie doesn't know what to do. Here's a bill that would ban conversion therapy for teenagers, and he doesn't know what to do. He's against same-sex marriage, but, of course, everybody's telling us that's the wave of the future. And he's undecided on this gay conversion therapy ban, which is like a crusade for people in the homosexual movement. They want to ban conversion therapy because what the very fact that conversion therapy exists, what does it mean? That there's something wrong with being attracted to people of the same sex. This is something for which you need therapy. This is something from which you need to be converted. So they hate the whole idea of conversion therapy because in their view, they're just fine. They're A-OK, nothing twisted, wrong, abnormal about us whatsoever. So they want to ban even the practice of conversion therapy. Now, here's part of the conundrum for Chris Christie. He says, I'm of two minds just on this stuff in general. Number one, I think there should be lots of deference given to parents on raising their children. Philosophically, on bills that restrict parents' ability to make decisions on how to care for their children, I'm generally a skeptic of those bills. Now, this is spoken like a true liberal. I mean, he's got some conservative instinct here. But we believe that total deference should be given to parents on raising their children. Now, we're not talking about abuse or beating them or killing them. Let's understand that. But we believe total deference should be given to parents on raising their children. According to the scripture, God has entrusted that responsibility to parents. Fathers, doesn't say the state, doesn't say the school, doesn't say the governor. Fathers, bring your children up in the nurture and admonition of the Lord. That is your responsibility to raise your children. It is not the responsibility of government. So parents are not owed lots of deference when it comes to raising their children. They are owed total deference. So only a moderate or liberal would say that lots of deference should be given to parents on raising their children. I mean, there is a point beyond which we are not going to allow children to decide how their parents are going to be raised. We're not going to permit them to do it. We're not going to let them. We're going to have deference up to this point, And then after this point, no difference. After this point, we are going to tell parents how they must raise their children. I find that absolutely, totally offensive. And that's exactly where Chris Christie is at. He doesn't think parents are owed total deference, just lots of deference. And he's actually open to the possibility that one of the areas where the state can step in and say to parents, we're not going to let you raise your child as you wish, we're not going to let you do it, that one of those areas is if your child is struggling with same-sex attractions and wants to overcome them. We're not going to let you help your child. We're going to prohibit you from doing that. You are not going to be allowed to help your child or to get your child to someone who can help them deal with unwanted same-sex attractions. Now, here's an interesting thing in light of that. And I'm just going to read their words for it, ladies and gentlemen. There's an upcoming workshop at Brown University which is designed to help queer minorities overcome their attraction to queer whites. Here's from the blog post itself. A group of Brown University, that's an Ivy League school, a group of Brown University students appear to be preparing an on-campus workshop in which queer participants will separate by race to work past their sexual attraction to Caucasians. Title of the seminar is Protect Me from What I Want. It's the Protect Me from What I Want workshop. Here's the official Facebook description. We find ourselves falling always for the white queers, wishing we could have more agency in the process, be more intentional about who we desire and how. Well, ladies and gentlemen, what are they saying? They are saying that we have unwanted same-sex attraction toward white people, and that is an attraction that must be overcome, and we can do it. So the queers themselves are saying, hey, unwanted same-sex attraction, you can lick it. Come to our seminar. We'll help you figure out how to do it.
Next time